that's how you avoid that dysfunction too. Like I look at these two coaches who are going to match up in this next round of divisional, him and Mike Vrabel. Of the biggest thing when we look at these two teams is this belief in the players to the coaches and how they continue to fight. And it's these teams that don't really have what we would say is conventional to go out there and say, hey, they're going to play in a conference championship when an opportunity to go play in a Super Bowl. There's not a ton of just over-the-top great offensive players on each team where, you know, we're talking about, man, this guy has been good for so many years. Like Drake May's a second-year guy. You know, C.J. Stroud's a guy who took the league by storm his rookie year, but it hasn't been the same really since then. And we're like, but these two teams are going to play, and one of these teams will have an opportunity to possibly play in the Super Bowl. And I think it's that. I think it's these coaches, and I think it's different nowadays because I think we see some of these former players, like you said, that were high-profile, great players, and I think at different times they step into these roles where people question right away, like, really? Like, how's that guy going to be qualified to do that? Hey, like, we know he's a great player, but how do they now get to do that so fast? Like, do they actually know what's going on? And I look at DeMeco and Mike Vrabel, and they went the path of being assistant coaches, figuring out how to be good, being on different people's staffs or learning from different coaches that are in front of them or coordinators. Like, when you have to do that, you have all of these thoughts, I think, as a player of how you would do things, whether it was from who you played for in college, then who you played for when you were a player as your position coach, as your coordinator, as your head coach. But then that's all you know, and it's only what you know from coach to player perspective. But I think then you go and you become a coach, any type, assistant, position coach, coordinator, whatever it is, you go and do those things. You now have a different perspective on what it looks like. Maybe you're in the room and you're coaching your guys up and you think, I'm coaching these guys up pretty well, and you're not getting the results. The guys aren't doing what you're coaching them. Or you have a coordinator who's telling you to do something that you don't believe in, and you still have to do it. I think gaining that perspective of how to handle that and what to do next, I think has given these guys an opportunity now that when they step into a locker room as a head coach, they know exactly what to do, what buttons to push, how to build and develop a team. And I remember being in Houston and talking to Nick Caserio, the general manager, who came in and he said, it's been a really good blend. He said, because I came in with all of these things that I had learned in New England for 20 years of how to do things, how to be successful, why we win, why we consistently show up and play in the games that matter. And he said, and that was different than what DeMeco Ryans envisioned and what he thought. And I had to learn some things on how to be good from DeMeco's perspective and what he liked. And he said, and those things were really good for me because I saw things one way for so long. And I think that's what Houston has. They have a lot of the foundation and roots of different people who were in New England for a long time, but also with this blend of what DeMeco now has and what he believes in. And it's going to be a fun matchup because, like, New England has the same kind of thing. You have the Mike Vrabel, the whole New England tradition in the past and different people there. But, like, his time at Ohio State, his time in Tennessee, his time in Houston also has different things that now we're going to see these two teams battle it out and do different things that are really built off the journey from their head coaches that I think creates these two super competitive teams that are built a little differently, but they both have this kind of crazy belief that if we follow what our head coach says, we'll have a chance to win the game.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.